Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Hints of Hisui. I'm your interim host, I guess, Cade, and I'm joined by Ethy and Tom for what is, I believe, our 30th episode of this podcast.
Yes, that is true.
Sweet mercy, I've been stuck with you guys for 30 episodes.
I don't know.
Wow.
It's scary.
Nah, this has been such a fun project. I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is number 30. And honestly, I'm gonna be cheesy since it's Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving when we're recording this. I am like genuinely thankful for you guys being an interesting part of my 2024.
Yeah. I am very thankful for all you guys, not only the hosts, but all the people who watch this podcast. Like, we guys so much. We really do appreciate you. Like, this podcast would not be anything like without the people who watch it as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Ronco left a comment on the last video talking about
Dude,
how
Ronco's
there's not
comment
really-
made me feel so
Yeah.
good last week. Actually, just
I
shout
thought-
out to all the comments.
Honestly.
There were some really good ones last week.
Mm-hmm. I loved Reek's comment where apparently people mentioned is in the description, but I've never seen that.
So I think it's on the YouTube app for phones. You know how you'll have I don't know, at least because I don't have it when I look at YouTube on my computer, but how Gemini will sometimes give you a summary of the episode or stuff like that. I assumed that that's a Gemini feature, and because I talked about Red One and we talked about Wicked last week, I assumed they had those people included, which is funny.
See, I've been thinking it was on desktop because I've been on mobile 90% of the time and I don't see it on. I wonder if I hit summarize the video.
Oh, maybe that's it. Yeah, I have no idea.
I don't know, but it's hilarious seeing that. Technically, yeah, if this was like a blog post or something, we could have used the tags for Ariana Grande and Chris Evans.
Let's just at them real quick in this episode. Yeah. And
There we go.
Podcast
Yeah,
about
host.
Pokemon fan games.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. There are days where I wish I could sing like Ariana Grande. There are days where I wish I could
think a lot
sing
of
better
people
than.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
There are days I wish I just sang better than I do, but that's personal problem.
Yeah. It was also okay, so half of the I really probably shouldn't even be bringing this up, but half of the comments in the last episode are about the ending of the podcast when Tom had to get dressed for work. So that was
Yeah,
I kept it very safe. I was careful about how I.
you were.
yeah, no, it if you didn't mention it, I guarantee most people would not have even realized.
Yeah. I wouldn't have, because I wouldn't have watched the full video to see that at 1 hour 30 minutes and
Yeah.
10
Yeah,
seconds
almost at
of
the
last
end.
episode. I wouldn't have thought to go back to then and be like, look at them legs, Tom.
Yeah, that's right.
Whew,
I'm
it's
181
a-
centimeters.
A little warm in here. Me with this hoodie, sweater, vest thing, whatever I'm wearing right now.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Oh wow, you really got is that 3 layers?
Kind of.
It looks
Not
like
intentionally, but yes.
3 layers. That's wild.
I don't know why there's a hoodie, like a hood part for some
What I
reason.
want to know is why is there a hoodie over what looks to be a colored shirt?
Yeah, I don't get that either. It was free and it looked nice until I realized, why is there a hood there? I got to keep it because I'm rushing to get it ready for for the holidays, but I got to get that fixed later.
Like, I understand like the collared shirt and then like the sweater vest type thing
Yeah.
over it. And then I understand like the hoodie with the sweater vest over it, but I don't understand
But
the hoodie
the
collar.
triple threat.
Yeah,
Collared
you're
shirt,
like you're really
hoodie,
here for any
sweater.
situation. It's crazy.
And I didn't even get it snowing outside.
Oh,
Granted,
it
I'm in a
snows.
vacuum
It
of
snowed
space,
today,
so-
actually, where I'm at.
Oh,
so-
really?
Yeah,
That's so cool.
yeah. On Thanksgiving,
Nice.
it snowed. Also, Tom's, I guess, the one non-American, but I'm just gonna throw out the comment for today's video, like right now. What is your favorite Thanksgiving food? And I want to hear everybody's answer on this. Tom, we can tell you what foods qualify as Thanksgiving food, or you could just say a food that you think has to do with Thanksgiving.
I thought people just eat turkey. Isn't that for one?
Yeah,
thing?
but there's other like
And that's-
side dishes and stuff like that like are also Thanksgiving foods. But yes, turkey is like
Oh.
the main like meat involved.
Damn. I'm guessing like a bunch of pies as well then.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a slut
What's
for
your
pumpkin
favorite
pie.
Thanksgiving food, Kate?
You really had to put me on the spot like that. I was hoping I'd be able to skirt by without answering because honestly, I love every single Thanksgiving food. I would say my go-to, like obviously you have to have the turkey, but I think my go-to is either now also this is a difference in like some Americans say stuffing, some people say dressing. I've always called it stuffing. But stuffing or dressing. That and mashed potatoes are by far my favorites. I know like in the South they make like mac and cheese, and that shit sounds amazing as well. But
It is.
that's not part of my Thanksgiving meal normally. So I'd say like stuffing and mashed potatoes. How about
Well, there's also
Ethan?
like the different, like the stuffing and dressing are the same thing, but it's how you cook it that makes it different.
Well, I had no idea.
Because stuffing is where you stuff the stuff inside
Oh,
of the
yeah,
turkey
yeah, yeah. Mhm.
or underneath it if you spatchcock it. Fun fact, makes it easier to cook.
You
And
what?
oh my god, I'm gonna have to explain spatchcocking.
So okay, for everybody listening, I have never participated in making like a Thanksgiving turkey. I have made like side dishes before, but I don't like. If you want me to contribute to Thanksgiving, you tell me to bring the King's Hawaiian rolls, and that's it.
Gotcha. We are very different ends of the spectrum because I'm ready. If like when my dad passes, I'm ready to start picking up the smoker and smoke everything. I'm ready to put.
Oh, you
I'm ready to
smoke your
spatchcock.
turkey?
My dad does. My dad
That shit
smokes the
sounds
turkey
so
or
fire.
smokes a butt, and it's so good. I wish I could share the recipe, but sorry.
Gotta
It is so tender and
gatekeep
so
that one.
sweet.
Gatekeep
Gotta
the
keep
family.
gotta gatekeep the family secret. But I can explain spatchcocking real quick. It's just when you slice out the spine. You also save it so that you can make some turkey stock with it later. You get rid of the spine so that you can just crack it so it's flat. And that way it cooks evenly. And you don't have to cook it for like 800 hours. You only have to cook it for like maybe 4. And the skin is a lot crispier.
Interesting.
So yeah, spatchcock, spatch it. Is that how I'm gonna get demonetized? Get us
That would be a
demonetized?
wild way to get demonetized. I think no, it's a technical term for how to cook a turkey. I don't see how that would demonetize us. other than
I've seen
the
people
word
get
sounds.
demonetized for less.
I guess
Yeah,
you're
and,
not
like,
wrong.
We could talk about badminton and the equipment they use in badminton. I imagine that's fine.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Ethan, you didn't answer the question. What's your favorite Thanksgiving food?
Oh, I'm a slut for pumpkin pie.
Oh yeah.
Like even when I was little, my grandma had to make one of my grandmas had to make an extra pumpkin pie so that I would I would devour an entire pumpkin pie myself.
I mean, that's so valid though.
It was that level of like, oh, Ethy's about to completely destroy pumpkin pie. We got to make sure there's one for everyone else to eat.
Yeah. I
Um,
don't know if this is a hot take, but like I really like pumpkin pie, but it is not like my favorite pie. I would happily take an apple pie or like a peach pie above a pumpkin pie.
It's okay to have wrong opinions.
Wow.
It's okay to have wrong opinions. I'll say it.
I will say I'm a slut for any apple dessert. So
Valid.
Apple's definitely nice.
yeah. Okay, Tom, you've heard us talk. What's your favorite Thanksgiving meal?
Is apple pie a Thanksgiving meal?
I would say so. Ethy, would you, like pumpkin pie is like the official pie of Thanksgiving, but
Yeah.
pie in
I mean,
general, like
pie in general,
like, when
I would
I go to
say.
Thanksgiving, like they have a pumpkin pie, they have an apple pie, and my family makes peach pie a lot, so we'll have like one of each.
Yeah, I don't know. My family isn't that big on desserts, but I would still classify it as like, yeah, it's still a pie. I would say it still counts.
Okay,
I'd lock in apple pie then. Apple pie sounds yummy.
apple pie is so good. Yeah, so I come from
yeah.
a family of bakers, so
Ah,
yeah.
gotcha.
Ooh.
yeah. I mean, I'm not complaining either. Like, it's my kryptonite, baked goods. So good.
Gotcha.
So yeah, if you celebrate Thanksgiving or if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, let us know your favorite Thanksgiving food. I'd love to see like the Europeans that watch this, that like where Thanksgiving is such like a foreign thing for them, talk about Thanksgiving. I think it's so funny
Oh gosh, yeah.
because it's like I've seen so many jokes. I saw a joke. This is like a little like too sport for most people here, but the NHL, the hockey league, has 0 games today, and in the NHL there's Canadian teams, and I saw a clip today that was like, yeah, so there's no NHL games today because of American Thanksgiving, or as we like to call it in Canada, Thursday. And I was like, how dare you insult a great American tradition like Thanksgiving? SMH.
I mean, I guess they're not wrong, but
They aren't wrong.
when they call it just Thursday, but yeah, that we agreed. I don't know why we agreed on making it a Thursday.
Is it always Thursday?
So I can have the
It is
Friday
always
off.
it is always the 4th Thursday of November.
Yes.
Oh, strange.
Yeah, it's not on a set, like it's not always on the 28th of November. It's always just the 4th Thursday of November, which only
Yeah.
confuses everybody every year.
Really? I mean, it is really late this year,
It-
I will say.
Or at least
Right, I guess. it's
from
on the third,
my
like, the
experience, it confuses
third
everybody.
month.
Yeah. Anyways, that's probably enough Thanksgiving talk, unless y'all want to talk about food some more. I'm down.
I'm always down to talk about food, but
On this
But-
question, about
Yeah.
food for you Americans, since I've got myself a little Q&A of Americans. What do you eat for Christmas? Because in Australia, we eat turkey on Christmas.
Okay.
But you don't just do back-to-back turkey extravaganza, do you?
No.
No, sometimes, usually it's ham,
Yeah, that's what
Ham
it's
is
looked
been
at
for
as,
me
like,
well.
but still someone will usually still do a turkey because turkey's just good.
I think Christmas is a lot more like culturally dependent. I think like you like me and ET. I think I don't know. I feel like it's always been like ham, but then like I think they're like if you've it feels more like a, hey, if your family like always makes this for Christmas, they always make this for Christmas. It's not like it has to be ham for everybody. I think.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think.
Especially, like in Australia, a lot of families do pavlova, which is an Australian food. It's just like a meringue cake kind of thing. Actually, Kenny will get mad because apparently it's New Zealand, but a lot of people think it's Australian. But then like I know Yule log is obviously a French Christmas dessert, so there's a lot of like variation.
Oh, that's a food.
Well, there's like multiple, so like there's like literally like a local TV channel that will just broadcast a looping like hour-long loop of a fireplace for 24 hours and just play Christmas carols the entire time. And they call that the Yule log.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think last year my sister actually made a Yule log like dessert, and that shit was fire. But yeah, I didn't know it was a food before then.
It's a damn.
This is me learning.
But yeah, what's your Christmas dessert, man?
Christmas dessert is when it usually is more apple.
I mean, really, just like anything, I guess. Like my sister always makes like she's like really into baking. Like I think I was telling these guys before we started recording, she made this apple crisp today. So gas. I'm like probably gonna like when we end recording this, like I'm gonna go eat another Thanksgiving meal. Because we have leftover food, and then I'm gonna have more of the apple crisp again because that shit was so fire. But yeah, I think like literally like anything. I don't think there's like I feel like Christmas is a lot more like open, at least in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like American Thanksgiving is still like American holidays alone are so diverse because we are the great melting pot or something. I forgot what the actual term is.
No, that's the term, I think.
So it makes sense that there's going to be a lot of variation in a regular American holiday, but then once you add like globally, like yeah, no, it's just kind of a free for all when you think about how different people's interpretations of a holiday like Christmas is going to be vastly different everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I even think like it's very.
I kind of like that.
Like from place to place, because like here in Minnesota, there's like 80 to 90% of the time we're having a white Christmas, which is like, and like I've literally come to expect that as like a kid. Whereas like I don't know if you live in like fucking Texas, like probably never have one, which seems like really sad to me. I feel like I associate snow with Christmas very strongly.
Yeah, I've had one white Christmas my entire life in Alabama.
See, like exactly, very 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 different. And I guess I bring that up because I feel like just a lot of different like patterns and like behaviors can like come from just very different location and cultural influences and whatnot.
Yeah. Like I guess in Australia, because it's like peak summer for Christmas and you sometimes get like very hot days, like Christmas barbecues are a somewhat common thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sit
Kind of sounds
outside.
fire, honestly.
Yeah,
I love
I've
barbecue so
seen
much.
pictures of people in like Brazil having poolside Christmas parties, and I'm just like, that honestly sounds kind of cool.
Surfing Santa.
Serving Santa, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. Enough food talk, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably. I love talking about food, trust me. But this is a Pokemon fan game podcast. But before we talk about fan games, I do want to ask all y'all any other like video games, any other important life updates that y'all have.
One funny life update I have is I was working yesterday, and like some of my elementary school kids, we had to do a little drawing about what we're doing on our summer vacation, or in an imaginary summer vacation. And these kids like to like bully me a lot, and I ended up receiving this very funny picture. I'll see if I can send it to you two. But for those watching the podcast, what it says word for word is, "We eat ice and dancing and eat teacher." And then there's a picture of like a dead stick figure in
Okay,
a pot.
it is the
and an
version I've
arrow
seen.
pointing saying Tom. That
Oh
just
my
it made me
god.
quite happy.
That's-
Yep, you shared this in another server, and I'm just, huh?
What?
It makes me, yeah. I feel like I should
Like,
be concerned, but it's kind of cute.
If this was in America, like the cops would have been called.
That's true. That's so true.
Like
But in
the
Japan, you
police
can just
would
make
be.
a joke about it, and like nobody gets worried because they know nothing's actually gonna happen.
We hope.
God, yeah. I mean, these kids just love to bully me. They had to like make birthday cards a few weeks back, and one of them made a birthday card saying like "Happy Birthday," and then it was 23 because I'm 23 years old. But then they added like 10 million zeros to it just to make me very, very old.
Damn.
That's good. That's funny.
But yeah, they're very funny kids. This is probably like my favorite class to teach because they just like to make lots of stupid jokes.
That's good. Yeah, I
As
can
long
only
as they're,
imagine.
as long as they are jokes,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we're not going to,
Yeah.
we're not going to be hearing stories about a Japanese teacher or a teacher in Japan murdered by his students.
Yeah,
If that happens,
Well,
I will be
something
thinking
that-
of, oh
like
no,
it
Tom.
wasn't a problem, but something that worried me a bit is earlier we covered like a unit kind of talking about like injuries and like accidents and getting hurt, having like a stomach ache, and one of the sentences was like, "I stabbed myself." And every time we'd say it, like these kids would mimic with their pen stabbing their hand. I'm like, please don't do that. I don't want anything to happen. I
Oh,
was like, oh, why do we have to go over this vocabulary?
Yeah, whoever made that curriculum, I feel like is a little. That's tough.
Yeah. But otherwise, I've just been playing some games. I won't harp about it too much because I'll probably be playing this game for a while and have other opportunities to talk about it. But on Steam, Mashi from EV Expo gifted me a little indie game called Until Then. It's a very nice pixel art, story-based game, and I'm very much enjoying slowly going through it.
I was watching
Nice.
that stream of you playing it, and I thought I was gonna hate that game, and I actually kind of like it. It actually seems kind of fun. Seems like
It's very,
very silly,
yeah.
but fun at the same time, and I think like that's really cool. Plus, like I was working from home Tuesday morning, I think when you played it, and I was like, yeah, like please help me get through this day. This week at work has been tough.
Very sweet game and amazingly beautiful in terms of
Yeah,
like art
it's
style.
gorgeous.
Nice.
How about you, Ify?
I didn't do anything over my last weekend. I don't remember. Oh wait, no, my last weekend, I remember now. It like bounced in and out of my head. So my last weekend, I didn't get to do much because it was an alternation between working and streaming. So I didn't get much free time last weekend. I hit the wrong button trying to look at my stuff. Cause yeah, I played Infinity and something else. What else did I stream? I genuinely don't remember what I did last weekend. But it was like interrupted with a day I went to work because you boys got Anime Weekend Atlanta in 2 weeks.
Ooh.
And that's a very expensive convention. Like one of the largest in the southeastern United States. So I need to work as many hours as I can so I can have some extra money for, the holidays and for Anime Weekend Atlanta and for just surviving right now. Okay, I see it. I played Power Wash Simulator where I was cleaning up Santa's workshop.
Oh yeah, I remember that stream. Yeah, that sounds
So I didn't get to really enjoy much of my time last weekend, and I just finished my 4th of 4. So I'm alive right now. That's all I can guarantee right now.
It's actually crazy.
Stay safe.
Shout out to the comments section flaming me for not being able to make it through an 8-hour shift. Also.
Oh yeah.
I saw that. I'm just like, hey,
I totally
be
understand,
nice.
but also I don't drink any caffeine because I can't sleep if I drink caffeine. So you guys have the upper hand on me.
Wow, you're all natty.
Yeah. Sure.
See, blood is supposed to be made of 4 major components: plasma, red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. I work in healthcare, so diminish those by a portion and insert caffeine, and that's my blood.
Yeah.
It's rough out here. Plus, I work nights, so that kind of...
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah.
I have to. Like, that's almost a requirement. You're looked at strange if you don't consume some sort of stimulant. Which is even funnier because I'm also on Adderall.
Yep.
But that's okay. I've made peace with my covenant without not alcohol. Made peace with that one too. But my covenant with caffeine.
Do you need to tell us about your alcohol habits too, Ify? Is something going on?
No, I haven't had much to drink since... It's been a couple of weeks since I had just a White Russian. I was streaming when I was drinking it too.
Oh.
Streaming while drinking is such like a weird feeling.
It is. It's kind of nice. You could tell I was slurring.
Sure. I don't know if I'd describe it as that.
I don't think I could handle it.
I think, I don't know. If I'm drinking, I don't really want to be streaming. I want to be, I don't know.
I want to be somewhere where someone won't remember my actions.
Yeah. I don't need video evidence of what I'm doing.
That's fair.
Well, Cade, you've been playing a very interesting game I saw.
Yeah, kind of. Well, so I I feel bad because I didn't finish Battle Citadel, but I feel like I got what the game was going for
Mm-hmm.
while I was playing it. And I also like it's actually a super deep and interesting game. I just was not the type of game I was looking to play. I was hoping for like a very short and sweet like experience, and that's not what it was. Um, which is like no problem, no problem with that. It's like I think sub abilities. I think if you like had like you said, okay, here's Poke Aim, here's like uh I don't even know who all the good like competitive battlers are, but like give them a ladder with sub abilities in like Pokemon Showdown. That shit sounds
Ooh.
so interesting to me. Like you could make some crazy things happen. Um, and that's where I think the potential of sub abilities lies. But in fan games, I don't know. Um, I guess that's my little note on Battle Citadel.
No, that's fair.
So then I started going back to stream Pokemon Odyssey, and that game is super fun. I need to finish it. I've only streamed it once since I've gone back, and they like had a big quality of life update. And I mean, I caught like a lot of like regionals. I don't know if they added them or if I had missed them, but I didn't really progress the story at all. I just kind of did a little professional slow run type of stream where I did everything except what I was supposed to be doing. Um, you know, just be like that sometimes. But I think the game that Tom's referring to is a game called The Duck Detective: The Secret Salami.
Yes.
Which is a super short game. I've played it like for maybe like an hour or so today, and I think I'm like already more than halfway through the game. Which is nice. I need a short experience like that. I very much enjoy the short experiences. And it's a really fun, silly little game about this like basically like office where like somebody steals like the salami in somebody's like lunchbox, and everybody is like so upset about it, and they hire you, a detective that's a duck, to figure out the mystery. And all the characters are like animals. There's like Freddy Frederson or something like that, this alligator or crocodile. It's a very wholesome, endearing game. And I haven't finished it, but I will probably finish it like tonight or tomorrow.
Nice.
And I highly recommend the game. I bet it's on sale right now on Steam with all the Black Friday sales going on. So highly recommend it. It's a very short and fun little experience, and I think that people would very much enjoy it, especially if you like mystery games. But yeah, I guess that's kind of my updates for video games.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I know Evie mentioned his covenant with caffeine. Shall we talk about Pokemon Covenant? Our covenant with the Eevee Expo Game Jam? And
No,
Pokemon
I need you to repeat yourself real quick. Who?
What?
Who?
What? Huh? What?
Who mentioned their covenant with caffeine?
Did I say Eevee?
No.
What did I say?
You said Eevee.
What? Did I?
Yes.
Eevee.
Did I?
You said Eevee.
I feel
so
like you're
guess I'm
gaslighting
Eevee
me,
now.
and my
Let it
only way
slide.
to respond is gaslight back, because I am pretty sure I said Eevee.
I heard Eevee.
Though it wouldn't be my first time saying something incorrectly. So my mind works too fast for my mouth to catch up. So yeah.
Wait, did I accidentally put the wrong? I did put the wrong one.
However, yes, this is the Pokemon Covenant episode, and we probably should have talked about this as the episode started, but Andy isn't here because he is very, very busy right now, and he did not have the time to finish Pokemon Covenant, and He probably won't have the time to finish it, unfortunately, but so that's kind of why we're doing this without him. But yeah, also if you're, in the comment section, tell us your favorite Thanksgiving food, and then also tell Andy good luck on the very busy and crazy life that he's living. Because God, I don't think I could do that much stuff that he's doing at that point in my life. I probably just fall over and die.
I don't know how he does it.
Be in a high school and no one wants to do that again.
That's
sucks.
So true. Anyways, yeah, so today we are talking about Pokemon Covenant, which is I believe the final spotlight game that we have to talk about from this jam. And it is by the same team who is behind Pokemon Rosen, which was in the second EV Expo, which is a really solid game. I hope everybody checks that game out as well, especially if you played Covenant and you enjoyed it. Highly recommend Rosen. But yeah, who wants to start? Who thinks they have like a good opening point to jump off of for this game?
I mean, I can just start with being excited about Gen 2 graphics.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I've been doing some research for stuff for a future episode with y'all, and I think it was episode 2 when I finally started talking about I am a slut for Generation 2 graphics. I think it was episode 2 when that was that came out of my mouth, those words. And ever since, it's been very much true. And I'm so happy. I love Gen 2. Oh, episode 1, 28 minutes and 10 seconds in. Episode 1 didn't even make it 30 minutes.
On that?
I was doing some research.
God damn.
I've got how many times Abstract was mentioned in episodes 1, 2, and 3. Haven't finished 4.
I know what's going on. Okay.
I
need to make a mental note of this.
I'm counting down when was Wolf considered a Kenny hater? Who was the first person to use profanity in episode 1?
It was definitely me. Definitely me.
It was me.
Really?
I thought it was Andy.
It was me. I think it was me. I'll have to go. I'll double check, but it was me saying, "Damn it, Tom."
Damn it is not a swear word. What kind of American bullshit is this? Come on, you're like an adult.
I don't know. I've had people's
a swear word in my book. I feel like.
Yeah, you've got hell and damn that are kind of swear words, but not
Hell
really
is not
they're junior
God.
swear
I feel like
words.
I'm hanging out with prudes.
Yeah. No, I'm from Alabama, of course. That's why it's such
I was about to make a joke, and I'm glad I did not make the joke.
Wow.
Now I need
the fact that I turned out the way I am from Alabama is a miracle. Anyway, go ahead.
Andy dropped the third hard swear, if you will.
Hard
so I remember
swear?
thinking wow, he got along. Yeah, fuck, shit, bitch, cunt.
You're just reminding me of Mo Bamba now. Jeez.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway, about the game.
It's got Gen 2 graphics. That's all that I needed to know. But it was so it was interesting that it had this I don't want to say it the covenant that you made with the warden and how he and the Ndidi are always watching you. Just it felt it was interesting, and having these trials that you had to overcome to what is it really this, let's see, this has been 2 months, so I know I've forgotten some things, but you're essentially reconstructing your own heart, if I understood it correctly.
I believe that's kind of
Yes.
like amending the shitty person you are.
Yeah, which I love that this is a journey of self-reflection and self-improvement in a way.
Absolutely.
I love those kind of games where there's a lot of introspection that goes on as you progress, and you kind of, especially as a player, you kind of see like, oh, I see where, like, I see a little bits of even myself in some of how these NPCs are acting, how like these main characters are acting, and it's interesting to see how the world dynamically changes as you progress. I love that. How the entire town shifts completely. Like once you defeat one of the not gym leaders vices, thank you. When you defeat a vice, like you're in the same town. Like I'm still in this town, but it's a whole new experience being in this town. Like I really loved the second vice as a good example, because I don't want to talk too much about the third one, just for like, because we're just getting started. But the second vice, like the whole town is just a lot more welcoming, where it's not just get away from me, stranger danger, go away. There's more openness of like, oh hi, welcome, this is our town, aren't we great?
Yeah, the game in general, just because of like how much they try to have things change as you progress, it gives you a lot of reasons to backtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, with the Darkness Town, a lot of houses open up and open their doors as soon as you beat the second vice. And also just with HMs, there's so many little secret or side paths that are locked by HMs that you don't get till later.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
that was killing me with cut.
Yeah, it worked pretty well in my opinion. All the backtracking stuff they had, it felt fun to go back.
Yeah. There's like, I don't know. I think this game, the way I described it, is, and I still stand by this when I finish playing, is that every decision that went into making this game came from like a very like solid, like wanting this game to have such the identity that it has, and every decision that was made in the game's design was based off that identity. And there's not a lot of Pokemon fan games that exist that have such as strong of an identity as this game does, in terms of like
absolutely
like the feeling of you, as we mentioned, kind of like piecing your shattered heart together, very like introspectiveness, I guess. It's it made the game for me. I can go on and on and on, but just I feel like in terms of like backtracking, I feel like it really allows the game to highlight the change that has happened in these different towns and cities that you visit, and before and after each vice that you defeat.
Yeah. Something I kind of like that kind of touches on what Evie said about it being just like a beautiful game visually. A lot of the towns are quite well mapped and they look really nice. Especially, I think the second vice and the third vice have very cool areas that are very unique. But I think more than like the tiles contribution to it, the way they build up the story of all the areas makes it all very memorable. You go to the first place and it's like a very lethargic desert. Everyone doesn't want to do anything. You go to the dark city and there's cops running about telling you what you can and can't do. You go to the casino and people are gambling away, and it's very obvious that people have been turning into lechonks. And it just makes for like really nice atmosphere in each of the cities. They all have just such a key identity, and it just makes everything work together so well and come across so beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Absolutely. I
And-
think yeah, that atmosphere in this game, I think like we could talk about each city and how it really like each city is like the personification of each vice in city form. And
Mhm.
that is, I think, the single thing that impressed me the most about this game. So I could go on forever about how genius the design of these cities are, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Especially with after the third gym, after the third vice, it's a different or no, to get the true third vice, how it's not just the gambling part. You have you go into this entire deserted town that it's already gone. It's already the emptiness is there, and it's there to stay, and it just it hurt. It's painful to look at.
Yeah.
It hurts to see this town is just completely destroyed. And I can't remember if the platinum saucer was the solution, or if it was the problem, or if it was kind of both.
Yeah, I think it was the problem. 'Cause I think they were trying to build the city, but everybody was so greedy and wanting to win all the winnings that they just gave up, basically. I think. Tom, do you agree with me, or do you remember
Maybe
the exact
I can't
opposite?
remember too much. I just vaguely remember something about. I thought the third vice did something to actively suck life out of the town and build his own casino for power.
I don't exactly remember what it was,
but I don't remember the details.
It's been a couple of months for all of us.
Yeah.
No, for Tom it was only.
Not for Tom.
I've just got a bad memory.
It happens.
I think the third town is my favorite because I think because there's two vices, there's two different perspectives that they can use to look at greed. The first one, and I think the natural, I think if you think of greed in everyday life, a lot of people think of greed in terms of money and stuff like that. And that first fake vice, I guess, was the example of someone having monetary greed. And I think there's a lot of people in our society who have I think it's not a very large leap mentally for people to make, or are yeah, if you just have monetary aspirations, that's very shallow, and it's almost blatantly obvious that this is so shallow, more blatant than the other vices. It is obvious with each vice that they are embodying this vice because of some internal struggle or deficiency that they have, but none more obvious than that one, because that fake vice is actually being taken control of or taken advantage of by the actual vice for that area, who embodies greed in terms of power and control, which I think is so genius. It is so smart. And when you walk through that town and you see that this guy actually has dominion over basically nothing, because most people are too shallow to even notice that they just want money, they don't even want anything else. He has dominion over nothing because everybody's gotten stopped at being greedy for money. It shows I think it's a very nice way to look at it. This guy is greedy for power, but he actually has no power because of how this whole thing has been set up.
It's such powerful storytelling and such such an interesting way of looking at how a lot of people look at such a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, most of the time when you, like you said, whenever you think of greed, you usually think of a monetary sense instead of not always a power sense. And to see somebody look at greed and acknowledge it more of, this can be more than just money like most people try to think it is. I like that. It makes you kind of think more about it. It makes you reflect a little more on yourself as a person.
Yeah. Like I will.
Yeah, that wasn't. Yeah.
Sorry, Tom. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I didn't clock that when I was playing myself, about like the two sides of greed, but I think that's like a very cool thing to do with it.
Yeah, it's not something that I realized when I was playing either, but I've seen, like, Tom, I saw a little bit of your playthrough. I do have this video essay about the theming of Rebirth in every single Jam game that is almost done.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's not that good of a video essay, I gotta be honest. I've really I started it and I'm like, yeah, I don't really feel like finishing it, so the second half of the video is kind of just getting phoned in. But I've done a lot of thinking about these games and the theming, and I am also going to write about Covenant in a different video. And so, but once I thought about all this, I'm like, holy shit, like, this game's fucking genius. And it's not something that you realize when you're playing. You can pick up on a lot on some of the things, but you don't pick up on everything.
No, and I love it's one of those things. That's something that I love and hate, because it's such a cool, like, once you catch it and realize it, oh, that's actually really smart. But when you're just playing normally, you don't pick it up. It just kind of you get it, but at the same time it goes over your head just the wrong amount. And it's disappointing when it does go over your head, but it's so cool to see when it does kind of click and you're like, oh, wait, oh.
Yeah.
I see what you did there. And
As a small aside,
I love hate it.
I had a moment like that when I played Chance of Sonara. I talked about it like probably a few months ago, but I was like, when I finished this game, I was like, oh yeah, this is like a really cool puzzle game. And I watched a video essay on it. I'm like, oh my god, I literally just missed like the massive like symbolism of the entire story, and I was so mad at myself. But yeah, like this game, I think, does that symbolism so well. And I mean, like, honestly,
go
ahead.
No, go on, Cade.
I was gonna say I could talk about the other cities too, because I like every single city. There's just so much good about this game that I could go on and on about.
They did a really good job of just putting in. Oh, excuse me. Putting in such different looks at what each of these vices looks like, in such a way that I wouldn't say I'm blown away, but it's a nice gust of wind that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, I think they, like, maybe not as much for like the third vice, but I think for the first two vices they kind of depicted a lot of like how this vice impacts people in like a very relatable way, I would say. Because like for the first vice, there's like a lot of people, like the gym is like a bunch of software engineers basically just like
very relatable,
toiling away at their job. But like, even if you're not a software engineer, you can understand like people hating their job, just like going to work going home, eating, sleep, repeat type thing, where they just feel like robots, but they feel like kind of trapped in this life. And it's an interesting way of looking at laziness, because from that perspective, you are too like lazy to go and try out another opportunity, because you are maybe correctly or incorrectly living under the assumption that this consistent stream of income is good for you. Like there's like a lot of layers to it, but I think there's also like the example, I think there's like hot tubs or something like that in the city, or like jacuzzis or something like that, where like it is very like, oh yeah, like I should go do this, but like just sleeping or do what I'm doing right now is just so much easier. It's so much easier to just not do anything.
Yeah.
I feel like that's super relatable.
Yeah. God.
Yeah, I can definitely, especially from like a career standpoint, I can definitely feel that as like, I used to be a much more ambitious person that would like, I would say no, what I've got is not enough. I want to strive for more. I want to be a better person. I want to like make more money and be able to like better take care of my friends and spoil my friends however I can. And hopefully have the kind of money to find a nice partner in the future where I can just spoil the hell out of them and give them anything they want, and also maybe a really nice ring whenever it's time for us to. Anyway, but here,
if
like
you want
the
someone
past,
to spoil, I'm happy to be your pet. Just put myself out there, you know.
you know, I respect that. I respect the hell out of that. I wasn't expecting it, but I'll respect it. Damn. Is this the start of I don't know what we'd name the ship here.
I don't know, I'll just call you my sugar daddy.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I think there's, obviously I've made this whole point. I think there's another end of that coin where people feel trapped in like the in the like continual improvement stuff. If you have a LinkedIn account and you look at your LinkedIn feed and it's just a bunch of people saying like, oh my god, I gotta like move up in the world and do all this shit because it's so important. Like there's two sides of that coin. I want to make that clear. Like like if you feel like you're being too lazy, like you probably aren't. I mean, maybe you are, but you are probably not. So
Yeah.
I think it's a lot more stressing. It's a lot more stressing to feel trapped in the like continual personal improvement cycle than the continual laziness cycle.
Completely agree. That's why I'm glad that I'm glad that I'm more in the like I've moved to the laziness cycle than I am in the like constantly hustle. Need to be getting better. Gotta like
fuck hustle culture, man.
Yeah.
Fuck
I can't like
students.
I think there's
can't do
just
it.
As long as there's a balance. I think that's what's really important.
Nah, fuck them all. They all suck. But yeah, fan games.
Yeah.
Fan games.
Do you guys have like any other comments? I feel like I've just kind of owned this whole conversation about like the first Vice.
Nah, I'm here for it.
No, I think you're completely correct, and like you said, there's two sides of it. You can either be kind of like lazy, sitting in the same cycle, or you can kind of fall into greed of continuously wanting more and trying to hustle your way to the top.
That's a good way to look at it, actually. Like on one end you have sloth, and on the other end you have greed. Like you don't want to fall into either of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Moderation.
Which is why I'm okay with waiting for my master's degree in whatever I end up getting it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna take my time. I'm going to enjoy a little bit of life for a couple of years before I worry about getting my master's right now.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's very fair.
I feel like I was.
If you
lied
already
to
have a
as kid.
bachelor's degree, you're already past a lot of people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Too bad your boy's not using it.
Oh, I feel like bachelor's degrees, even if they're not in like for a job that you end up working for, a lot of employers just look at you differently if you have any kind of degree.
Yeah.
you're like, wow, this
I
guy
guess
actually
it-
cares about, you know.
Yeah.
I can actually put up with someone's BS enough to finish a 4-year degree.
Yeah.
Only took me 10 years to
Exactly.
do it, but
More than it shows that like, oh, you've majored in this specific field, it shows that you're the kind of person who can actually get through uni and complete themselves to a dedicated degree. That's how
yeah.
I look at it, at least.
Yeah.
But I'm ready to start making the cool guy money where I can afford the steak and the chocolate cake and not just saying, oh, I'll have the chicken.
I buy the steak and the chocolate cake, and then I wonder why I'm poor at the end of the day. Just irresponsible use of money.
Hey, but as long as the steak and chocolate cake is good, that's really what matters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, well, you'd also hope that you're not too full to throw up from from both of those. Because
Oh,
then
never. Different
you're not really
standards.
enjoying it, even
Nah.
if they are good.
Oh yeah.
Look at me taking a metaphor too far. You guys want to talk about the second city? I know we've kind of hinted at it, kind of touched on it a little bit, but I think like that second city is also like really cool as well.
I forgot,
Yeah,
what was the term they used for vice? So we had sloth, greed, and
I think they just used fear for the second.
fear.
Yeah.
That's it, fear.
Yeah.
It was interesting that it was fear, because like I don't see fear as really a vice, but at the same time, like I see what they were going for and I liked it, but I
Yeah.
couldn't quite. It was different from what I would have expected when I hear vices,
Yeah.
because I wouldn't say my fear is a vice that I hang on to.
Yeah, like fear can be a good thing. Like, I don't know. I guess I saw this game and I was like, oh, 7 deadly sins. And then
Me
Mhm.
too. I had
fear
the exact
isn't
same.
really part of that. I'm not like, this
Yeah.
isn't a knock on the game.
No.
It's more just like, this is what I assumed was going to happen. And then I was like, oh, but like the second city doesn't really, like, fear doesn't really fall into any of those. So, but I still think it was like done well, and the way it played out, I think still like
Oh yes.
it was good at like showing how fear can be a bad thing.
My understanding of it somewhat was it showing like how fear can lead to an over attachment to safety and like monitoring everything. Like obviously you've got the police who keep things very strict in the town out of fear, and it inhibits the town and makes it a much worse place.
Yeah.
So I don't know how like you can sum that up in one word, but I guess that kind of like over attachment, overbearing attachment to safety.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, I guess if you're looking at like, if we talked about how sloth and greed are two sides of the same coin, you can talk about how like fear and safety are two sides of like, well, not like fear and safety, but like safety and like secure. No. I guess safety and not safety. is like,
Yeah.
I don't really know a word. Safety and freedom, how about, are like two sides of like the same coin. And I think that was like, that's this city like really kind of looked at that, I would say.
Yeah.
I also like really like the kind of like motif about darkness in that city. I think it's like a very common fear for people to be like afraid of the dark. So I think like when we're talking about like how relatable each city is, I think the motif of like, you know, you have to have a dark type on your team or whatever, and then you like also can't go out at night, are like really good examples of that.
Yeah, definitely. Just so much in this game because it's so much identity. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh, something I actually did not like about this game, and I'm curious how Efi handled it. And I don't know if you guys remember, but what the hell was that color tile puzzle in the third Vice gym or whatever you call it?
What?
Do you remember what I'm like? Before you go to the fake third Vice, you have to climb up his tower, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And there's
yeah,
one
yeah.
part where you have to follow very slightly different tiles, and then for the last bit, it seems like it's just trial and error.
Yeah, no, I just brute forced
reason.
it, and I took notes on like which tiles were safe and which ones weren't.
I think that's kind of what I did too. I'm trying to, let's see.
Were you fine with the color difference, Efi? Because
I didn't even know there was a color difference.
Like for the first half there is, and then the last one there's just not.
I think there were dots that were different that I was able to pay attention to. I'm looking to find out. I'm finding it, scrolling through my own footage. Here we go. I'm looking to find out because I genuinely don't remember. I also forgot that it was a very like, they kind of called the way that this gym looks. It feels like they kind of called it a like childish. It felt like it was being called childish. Greed was a childish thing.
I thought like,
but yeah, the colors were different enough I could tell.
I think for me it was like a comment on like how childish like greed in terms of money, like how shallow that is. And then you like go see the guy with like who has greed in terms of like power and control. Like, sure, I guess that's not as shallow, even though that's still a vice.
Yeah. But yeah, looks like yeah, looks like okay, so the very end when it was like, yeah, don't trust the colors. Oh, there was something that gave you a hint.
Oh?
That tells you that it's inverted. Somewhere there was a hint. Is it not?
Oh, I guess it is inverted. But it's not like
I'd have to go back and check.
Mirrored. I'm looking at it now because the real one's like on the full left side of the wall, and the color is on like the one away from the right side of the wall. And at the end, you curve, so it's not mirrored. I'm looking at Kate's chat right now, and Recreek says like, "It's mirrored, is it not?" And then it's like, "Oh, it's not."
But I think some of like, oh wait, I went too far.
That's the only thing that annoyed me in this game, was that and not having XP all for like the first 20 minutes or 10 minutes, but
yeah, that was...
I didn't mind anymore.
I didn't notice there were running shoes throughout the entire game.
Oh no.
So
and fast forward, right?
Yeah, and there was no speed up. I guess actually the
But
number
it is
one thing
speed up.
that the number one thing that annoys me about Essentials GS games is the fucking controls, and I forgot that you could change them. So I'm here like trying to click enter because that's what I normally use for my like A button.
I didn't know
when
you
I
could
play.
change it.
And then I like had to coach myself to use the C key instead, which is like, I don't know. The one actual like critique, this is more of like a nitpick, was I felt that the early game Pokemon selection was pretty weak.
Definitely.
not-
Hard agree.
Hard agree, you say?
Hard agree.
Okay, because I felt like at least at the very beginning, before the first Vice, there was not like a lot of options in terms of like type diversity for your team. I think I was running with like 2 or 3 ground types and like 2 or 3 flying types, and then my Pachirisu, who was normal grass, something along those lines. And I was really nervous going into that first Vice, just because like I think there were like maybe like you got 3 Pokemon available to you on the first route, and then like another 3 in like the desert area. Then maybe you could change it up a little bit in the city. I don't exactly remember, but I remember not enjoying that portion of the game at the very beginning.
Yeah. I mean I'm looking at my second stream, and I had an okay balance with my team. I had a Snubble, Fennekin, Pachirisu, Cubone, and a Ghastly and an Egg, which I think became
I
a
got
Wingull.
very lucky with mine because I found like a regional Natu on the first route, and I think that's like a rare encounter.
Dude, yeah,
It
I think
is.
I didn't even know that existed. There was one Pokemon I saw on your team that was like, where was this in the game? Like, I need this.
Did you see like the Rotom side quest? I thought that
Yes,
was really
and then
cool.
I couldn't catch
Yes.
it because I didn't know I was
too.
running into a Rotom. I was stocked up on Pokeballs.
Yeah.
But I mean, like that's how like the ace of the Vice should be. Like, you shouldn't be able to just capture it willy-nilly, I think.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah. One thing I will say, we talked about how like all these cities like personify like each Vice. The like regional Pokemon that have to do with like each Vice also do that. Like the most obvious one is definitely the Lechonk. Like, it's a fucking piggy bank.
Mhm.
But like the Rotom is like a PC, I think, and then like I forget what the other ones are, but I do remember them like all like fitting each Vice, which was really cool.
Yeah. Lots of just cool regional forms in general, like the Pachirisu, Mimikyu.
Yeah.
I really like the Lechonk evolution. That looked badass.
I forgot what that looked like.
It's
don't
like
even know if I
an
got it.
angel with a pearl necklace.
Oh yeah. It was a play on like when pigs fly type thing, I think.
Oh.
I think that's what they meant it to be. I'm not actually sure.
I don't care. It just looks
Oh,
awesome.
I see it. That is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, and I remember being very happy about the beta Remoraid and Octillery.
Oh yeah, that was in it
Seeing
too.
those come back, I was so Octillery used to be one of my favorite Pokemon.
But yeah, like looking at Cade's videos, I was wondering why it took him 6 streams to beat the game. But if he didn't have run-in shoes and he didn't know you can fast forward, makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, that's okay. I felt like I played that game slowly anyways. Yeah, I felt like it was very interesting. Something that I do need to mention that I feel like I'm probably not the best person to talk about this on this podcast, but the Persona influence, especially in the like the warden room, is like incredibly obvious. I have not played Persona, but I've been told by multiple people in my stream and in my co-com that the Persona influence is very uncanny.
Oh yes.
Definitely, yeah.
I've played a little bit of Persona 5 and watched the anime for 4 and constantly being bombarded by memes of Persona by my wonderful mods Guz and Crimson. Since I haven't met my quota of name dropping them, I should name drop L here too, just to meet the quota.
I know we used to name drop L every episode. What happened?
I don't know. We've been slacking. But yeah, they've been bombarding me. Crimson and Guz have been bombarding me with Persona memes, and everything reminds me of Per.
No way, that's so funny. Actually, what the fuck?
And I'm tired of it, and now it's showing up on my TikTok. I get freaking TikTok memes of Persona stuff, and I'm like, I don't get this.
Your phone is listening.
But if I send it to Guz, then I've ended up spoiling them on something, because of course it's a spoiler for, I don't, like, but I thought this was Persona 5. No, this is Persona 3. What's it?
Damn.
Oh well.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Do you guys have like any other comments? I'm trying to think if I had anything else that I wanted to touch on with this game.
I mean, if it's not already immediately clear, I think we all really enjoyed this game, right?
Yeah, no, this is
Absolutely.
like I talked about how like this was the jam that like kept on giving in my opinion.
Yes,
definitely.
I played Tower of Ashes like my second or third jam game that I played. I was like, this shit is easily going to be my favorite game in the jam. Then I played Covenant, and I'm like, yeah, there's nothing beating Covenant. And then I played Slowpoke Shack, and I'm like, yeah, I think Slowpoke Shack might, in my opinion, be better than Covenant. Like, it's this jam, the quality of this jam is actually crazy. And I guess since this is the last jam game that we're going to be talking about, I'm pretty sure we can probably wrap up and have our overall thoughts on the jam as well.
Definitely.
If you guys want to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the jam games that I played, I loved Perilous Heights, even though apparently that's controversial. Which I understand from the very limited Pokemon that you're given access to. Tower of Ashes, like you said, it was so much fun having, especially once you got to points where you're just completely broken. Chef's kiss, yes. Good stuff.
So fun.
Yeah.
I need to go back and play through All Things It Devours, because that one was kind of, I don't want to say tainted, but because there was something was wrong with the game, and they when I was playing it, you couldn't quite finish it. So unfortunately, I don't have the full ending for All Things It Devours. But I mean, looking at the rest of them, Forgotten Saint, Legends Apotheosis, the Slowpoke Shack, Berserk, if we don't mention Berserk, or Abstract.
This could be
we've done something
our
wrong.
quota will not be met.
But yeah, just so many
And A Star in the Desert.
I think definitely gonna be one of, if not the best jams so far for me.
Yeah.
I played Perilous Heights. I really liked that game. I thought the story was really fun. I had a great time. Samsara was really cool, very unique. You don't see people being that unique with jam games that often. It was really out there. Five Nights with Eevees, I personally really enjoyed. I thought it was a fun gameplay loop. Forgotten Saint had a lot of flaws in the story, and I think we went over that, but it had so much, there's definitely potential there. And then also just the sigil mechanic was incredibly fun.
So fun.
So that was awesome. Berserk, we've talked about Berserk, but Berserk is obviously a game that I like a lot. Tower of Ashes, really fun, really good roguelite. like challenging. It sits, I think, at the top of Pokemon roguelike Kingdom with Ultralight next to it, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Star in the Desert, very charming. Apotheosis, also great. Just I guess like would be nice to see more of it eventually. And
Yeah.
then Slowpoke Shack, an absolute beauty in storytelling, and obviously Covenant, as we've talked about today.
Yep.
Yeah, there's so many bangers, and I think there's a lot of like, unfortunately, one of the things that happens when a jam is so good is that there are games that slip through the cracks. Like I think Perilous Heights is definitely a game that slipped through the cracks, especially because we like talked about it so early. I think it's like a very good, like very solid experience. Like yeah, we obviously had our issues on it, but like it's a fun game. It's a really good Pokemon game in a format that I really enjoy playing through Pokemon games. I think Legends Apotheosis is also a game that fell through the cracks. Obviously, it's not like a complete game, but there was some really good storytelling in that as well, and like really cool Legends features. So I think like that's a game that got overlooked. I think Triad Master, I know a lot of, I think I may have been the only person that played Triad Master here. That game was like super good. I like actually by the end figured out how to play Triple Triad, which I never thought I would actually fully understand. But that's like a super fun game, and I highly recommend it, especially if you have any sort of interest in Triple Triad. It's just a fun little Triple Triad game. I think honestly, I feel like even though this game got a spotlight, A Star in the Desert has like not gotten the praise it deserves, I feel like.
No.
I think mostly as a result of every other Spotlight game just being so amazing and like being as memorable or unique, if not more than A Star in the Desert. But like there are so many really cool ideas and just dialogue in that game that I think is super good. So
Definitely.
good. So I don't want that game to slip through the cracks. And then finally, All Things It Devours. I know everybody's had a different experience with it, but I think it tells a really interesting story, and the puzzle elements are very cool, and the flavor text is so descriptive.
Yes.
So yeah, there's just, and obviously I didn't mention any of the big games, any of the super memorable games, because we all remember them.
Yeah. But this jam has definitely been just a really good, like a good one. It didn't have the quantity, but it had the quality that I would expect for a 10th annual game jam. It definitely had the quality that I would expect. It didn't have the quantity, but that's to be expected when EVX when Relic Castle. I've trained myself to say EV Expo instead of Relic Castle, but I actually need to say Relic Castle this time. After the Relic Castle shut down in May, I know that it hit a lot of people very hard. I mean,
Yeah.
That day I was supposed to help my friend study for her nurse practitioner exam. We couldn't do that because I was crying so much, and I could not pay attention. Like it emotionally hit me that hard, and I can only imagine how developers felt feeling like all of that work that they've put in gone up in smoke. All of these developers, whether it's you've released a game, whether you've made assets, whether you've made this or you did that, or even if you've done like you just enjoy the forums. I don't know how everyone else felt. But from personally, it hit me really hard because so much of who I am these days revolved so much around Relic Castle, and especially so many of my deepest friendships that I have these days are from people that I've met through Relic. If it weren't for Relic, I don't know what kind of person I'd be right now.
Yeah.
But I definitely wouldn't be the version y'all have got.
Very well said, Ethy.
Yeah.
So to see the community bounce back the way that it did with this jam, it warms my heart so much, and I'm so glad that the community was able to say, we're going to make this 10th annual jam, we're going to make it something special, we're going to make sure that some amazing stuff comes out of it. And these developers did not disappoint.
Not at all.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I'm a little sentimental right now.
There's no problem with that, though. Yeah. Is there anything else though that I have forgotten about that we need to talk about?
We've done our question for today because it was Thanksgiving. So that's
Give
been
us your
covered.
favorite
We don't need to be
Thanksgiving
weird.
food. Yeah. Yeah.
Not unless we just need to end with a fun fact about, like, McDonald's used to sell bubblegum flavored broccoli.
Well, there you go.
What?
Yep.
What? Huh?
Sounds tasty.
Sounds awful.
Yeah, no, it does not sound good. But yeah, they once developed broccoli that tasted like bubblegum. They wanted to get the kids to eat healthier food, so they worked on yeah. Honestly,
That is kind of insane.
That's crazy.
but yeah, I'll send you guys an article about it.
Kind of reminds
On
me
that
how like
note-
some people think cilantro tastes like soap, which is like wild to me because cilantro is
Oh
so
yeah,
good.
that's a thing, right?
Yeah, that's a genetic problem that I'm so glad I don't
I'm
have.
so glad I don't have that either. Anyways, yeah, I guess that's it for this episode. Let us know also if you think bubblegum tasting broccoli would sound good. I will personally request Andy to hide all of the comments from the people who think it would taste good. And on that note, that's it for this week. Thank you guys for watching this episode, and we will see you all next time. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.